I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's going on, Better Call Saul fans? We are live, yeah!
Yeah!
Yes, as I'm sure you know, this is not how our studio normally looks, but have no fear, we are persevering in the wake, in the aftermath, really. Or I guess we're currently experiencing it. In the current experience of the coronavirus,
yes,
we are no longer recording in studio for the time being. We will be back in the future once this blows over, but for now, coming to you from our houses, from our bedrooms, I'm Ryan Nilsson, joined by two incredibly big Breaking Bad fanatics and Better Call Saul fans. First up, he's an actor. He's got a badass background, I will say. That is Sean McHugh right here.
Here I am in my hyperbolic chamber. Don't come too close. Keep your distance, but I still love you.
Keep your distance, but another person you don't want to keep your distance from is Lauren Kling down here.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
He worked on Better Call. He worked on Breaking Bad sets for the first, not the set. He worked on the Breaking Bad
camera gear for
the camera
first season
for Breaking Bad's first season. He's seen the dust. He's seen how it all works. Sean, we see you. Good.
Sorry.
Man. All good.
Sorry.
But guys, we're persevering. What a heck of an episode. I want to just tease up top. We're going to be talking about Mike in Mexico, Saul scamming Verde, all those incredible scams. Where does Kim's real allegiance lie? I think we do know, but is she going to mess it up? Who knows? And as well as that fountain engraving, who is Max? And at the end there with Gus and Mike, let's get some overall thoughts. I'm throwing it to Lauren Kling first. Lauren.
That was a great episode. I was there was the lines that I wrote was Mike calls Spring, why am I here? Mike asks. Later on, Jimmy's line, it gets nasty, it gets personal, it gets dangerous. And then at the end of the episode, Mike says, why me? And Fring says, because you understand revenge. Those three lines really encapsulated how amazing this episode was.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I personally thought, wow, like I don't know if Mike got the memo about the social distancing, but he's in Mexico and he knows about the virus. No, I think the big takeaway for me was, wow, there's something going on with Matt, with the person, whoever Max is. We don't know. I think we were hypothesizing. We might predict a little later. But I also think that Jimmy is really trying to turn Kim into Saul. He's trying to pull the Saul out of her. And I think that's making for a really interesting dynamic. Sean, what'd you think?
Yeah, overall, good episode. It's funny. I felt like at one point Mike was on a vision quest. I was like, Mike is just out in the desert. You know, nobody's talking to him. He's trying to run away. Then they had to go get him. I thought it was interesting though that he had an electric, or the doctor had this like electric golf cart in the middle of like Mexico, like no man's land. We just hear that hovering noise. That was kind of fun.
That was a golf cart, wasn't it? I thought at first it was like a mini, or just like some kind of mini car, but yeah, that was a golf cart.
No, it was like an electric golf cart, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and then of course all Jimmy shenanigans. I mean, I keep calling him Jimmy. Saul's shenanigans are just. I mean, it's like it's perfect Saul this episode. So I'm excited to get into all that.
I mean, let's get into the scams up top. I mean, first off, you see the demolishing crew getting there, and the first scam with the mailbox. Lauren, was this classic Saul?
It was not only classic Saul, it was amazing classic Saul, with the address numbers changing, the cops that, the by the book cop, and the construction dude, the foreman, who's like, are you serious? And what I noticed is Jimmy's got that tall boy of coffee, which is kind of his thing. And it makes me wonder, does he always have that tall boy of coffee every time he's into his shenanigans?
I noticed that too today. I was wondering if we'd seen that in like promotional work or if that's ever been the background. But yeah, he had been clutched in his hand the whole episode. Sean, of all the scams today, like what was your favorite?
I think the homage to oh God, what's the movie? What's the with the prison yard and the whole thing of crushing the stuff and then releasing it through his leg.
Oh my gosh!
What's the movie I'm thinking
of? Shawshank? No.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
yes,
Shawshank.
thank you. The homage to Shawshank was my favorite scam. The way they did it, and they're talking about the stars and stuff. It's like so ridiculous, but so good.
See,
so good.
I think mine might have been the spraying of like a vision of Jesus on the wall.
Oh.
What was that? And then all these people came and visit, and they had to postpone again. The postponing bit was so funny. Again, the montages in the show are the best on TV. But just I got to make a call. Don't tell me. So funny and ingenious too. Oh my gosh, the Native American burial ground.
Oh yeah. I like how the woman was like, I think this is contemporary, but we got to check.
I think it's contemporary.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah, I mean, he's pulling out all the stops. I wonder how much him and Kim convened, or you think Kim just said, like, do your thing?
That's a good question, because I remember thinking, I'm like, I'm not sure how Kim wanted this to go with Kevin at the golf course. Right? Like, did she still want to be a lawyer with him, or did she want the out to, you know what I mean? I'm not sure where that was supposed to go.
I think she wanted, her whole scheme was, I think she wanted to delay it to make it look like Mesa Verde was losing money, which they were, just from every day. They're paying all those workers. And then just saying, hey, we can just do this other plot of land, and then he's losing money by creating all these shenanigans. So that gives them in the driver's seat. She was hoping that they would twist there, but they didn't.
No, I'm sorry. I understood that. I just mean, initially, did she want to be still part of the team?
That's a good question. Warren, what do you think?
You mean the part of the Mesa Verde team?
Correct. When the first meeting with Kevin at the golf course, I wasn't sure how Kim wanted that to go.
You know what? I don't know. And I kind of feel like they played it that way. Again, we're always thinking about what's not necessarily what's Kim's end game in the season, what's the show's end game with Kim. And so I wouldn't put it past the producers and the writers to make it not that clear. We know she was on board with Jimmy, but you're right. Thinking back with her meeting with Paige and Kevin, what was her intention? One possibility is that she's like, I don't want to do this anymore, that I want to go out and work with just she wants to work with her pro bonos. Maybe she sees Everett as a pro bono client.
Are you saying this as deep down she doesn't want to work with Mesa Verde? Because I have a full belief that's where she thinks she needs to be. But there's something about this specific case. But do you think deep down she wants to get out of there? She wants something to just pull her out?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if Kim is feeling for this man and might say, I want to work for the underdogs.
And that's Saul. I think he's the perfect example of an underdog. We had that great scene with them in the bedroom after they said, hey, at all costs, we need to get back in the driver's seat. We're not budging. My dad didn't teach me to do that. Yada, yada, yada. And then they say, all right, we're pulling out all the stops. Did Saul trick Kim into thinking that, or do you think that was her own decision?
I think at this point, Saul/Jimmy is nothing but sincere when it comes to Kim. I think he was being legit. Like, well, there's always this option. I don't think you want to go there, but it's an option. And I think he wants it to be her choice. Is I guess what I'm saying.
Lauren.
Sorry, I'm taking a look at the chat, and people are bringing up. Yeah, so people are bringing up some interesting things. And so I apologize for missing what your question was, but I did want to share that Roel Rossner says Max was Gus's original drug cook and co-founder of Los Pollos Hermanos that Hector shot in a flashback in Breaking Bad.
Oh, right.
That's a huge thank you, Roel, for that.
Hence the revenge, hence everything around there. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Great point.
Right. And then John Doe, who we don't know who John Doe is, says Kim wants nothing to do with Mesa Verde past screwing them over, which makes me wonder if she's starting to turn and want to work for the little guy, kind of like Jimmy / Saul was doing.
Okay.
I think that's a good question. You know, I could buy that down the line. I think this is the first real issue she's taking with how Mesa Verde is kind of behaving themselves or holding themselves. But I also think it might be a little deeper than that, like most things are on this show. We'll definitely have to see. I definitely think she is moving towards that Saul Goodman holding herself, because she can see that she can get results that way. She's even doing an impersonation of her boss.
Oh, that was so good. I loved her impersonation of Kevin. That was pretty spot on too.
Yeah, she crushed it. I mean, shout out to Rhea Seehorn again. You're the best.
Yeah,
absolutely love her. She's so talented. She's the best. Best actress on TV. But they resort to going to other lengths, and we have that incredible character, Mr. X. Just, I think, stole the show. Really.
Wow.
What do you think, Sean?
No, I mean, I definitely like Mr. X. It's funny because obviously we've seen him before, right? Like, this isn't our first time seeing him. Yes.
I think we got him in. I think we got him either in an earlier season of Better Call Saul or in Breaking Bad. But he's like the backup go-to, obviously, when Mike's
not available. Yeah. Right. I love that this guy had like 70 like pictures of everything. He was like, I'm not thorough. Okay, here you go.
Right.
So that I appreciated the guy's attention to detail, that he took umbrage with him saying that he was surface level, with Saul telling him it was surface level.
Right.
So yeah, this is what this show does so well. I mean, it gives all their guest stars like this big chunk of meat to just gnaw on. And they always deliver. I mean, because this is such an easy throwaway role, right? Like, this somebody come in, show us the stuff. It's like, no. That's not how Vince rolls. You know, Vince is like, no. We got to make this a memorable dude that you're going to want to see again. So, yeah, that guy crushed it.
Yeah. And what I love is he didn't just pull the stuff out. He had to be goaded into handing over the photos in one envelope. And then the pictures of the stuff on the desk was on another envelope.
Right.
So you're wondering how many envelopes this guy had, what else he might have had at the ready.
Yeah, he had a lot of envelopes. I think my favorite moment of that entire interaction might have been where he goes, "Yeah, took out a airsoft and triggered the alarm, drove the maid crazy." You're like, I was picturing him just like outside his car, hitting the window, and then the maid, like him dressing up. Like, I could envision the entire thing.
Yeah,
so funny.
And then it took like this weird turn at the end of like, or we could kidnap him with a bag over his head, and you'll never see him again. What?
Which has happened to Saul, and he's fortunately gotten out of it. But he was immediately like, "Okay, see you later."
Right.
Oh, so funny.
Good stuff.
Great stuff. And then Kim sees something in the photos, which I saw it as it was the horse, right? The man on the horse similarity.
Yes, it's almost like it's the logo, as it were, of Mesa Verde, right? So my thought was, is there some kind of logo infringement angle they can go with? I don't know. Oh. That was my kind of first initial thought. I don't know. It's probably deeper than that, but
right.
What do you think, Lauren?
I'm thinking that.
You know what? Too early for me to guess.
No guess at all, Lauren.
Mm-mm. No.
But it has to do with the horse, right?
Okay, fine. What Kim saw was a picture of Ryan hosting the after show, and she got the smile on her face, saying, "Someday I'm going to be a guest on the show."
Nice. Nice.
That
Well
classic.
played, sir. Well
Very
played,
meta.
sir.
That smile is going to be a meme, and I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
All right, now on the other side, the other storylines we got here, going right over to Mike. We got a lot more Mike this episode. Obviously confirmed he's in Mexico. It's the guy that we saw help that Mike brought Gus to in Breaking Bad after he was in a shootout and he kept him alive. So there's a lot of connections here to Breaking Bad. And we see, at first Mike just gets up and leaves. As you said earlier, golf cart brings him back. What do we think about what's going on in Mike's head all on this? Did Gus call him out at the end there?
100% he called him out. It's funny. I, initially was saying that this was all about him distancing himself from his family for their safety. But after this episode and the way Gus calls him out, I was like, oh, no. This is just Mike in his own world, his own head, and his own demons that I think that Gus is smartly trying to exercise via Mexico.
Lauren.
I think, you know what? I think the last few lines when Fring knew everything about Mike said, "Strange from your daughter. You're drinking, you're brawling with street hoods who might be working for Fring." We don't know exactly how he was found and brought down to Mexico. So Fring was like, "I need a soldier." And he knows Mike better than Mike knows Mike.
Right.
So, and that he says, "You understand revenge," which is great because that brings up so many things about Mike's past and his reaction to revenge, like beating up the street hoods and then coming back to walk the streets again.
Right. That's the Philly in him for sure. Yeah, no, I think you nailed on the head, Warren. I think exactly. Gus laid it out on the table there. This is why this works. This is why it's not like you working for the Salamancas, how I'm different. And it all came full circle with that beautiful shot of the fountain and the title. I mean, this show is just great that way, where it just comes full circle at the final frame. And it makes you love it, the whole episode like that. Like it's just great, as no one needed to say.
Also just to add on, I like how Mike essentially tries to call Gus out. With this whole thing of, oh, this kind of balances the scales, and he's like, this makes up for it, and then Gus is like, oh, this makes up for nothing.
Right.
I am what I am, and I love that. That Gus is like, no, I get it. I'm evil, but at least I'm doing something somewhat good.
Right. Like
if someone's got to be this guy, it should be me and not these idiots.
Exactly. He's not. If there's anyone to do it, it's him. And
right.
He somewhat has a motive that I think that Mike can respect, and I think he knows that. He gets it. So I mean, just great. And Mike's not an idiot either. Mike knew that Gus had some kind of intention there, and that brought him there. But y'all, there's just one last detail I just wanted to throw in there before we move on to our special segment, Object Sustain, which y'all in the chat start putting in what you object and sustain this from this episode, and we will get to it. But first, we had one little cameo appearance from Howard, who called Jimmy just to see how he's doing, what's he thinking about, and it was quick, it was in and out, but I just want to get y'all's thoughts on that real quick.
It was interesting how. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
No, go ahead.
Okay, you know what? I thought it was interesting who Jimmy's kind of like, I don't have time for this shit. That's really all it was. Whatever you said, I'm not even paying attention. Close the flip phone and move on. So he's over it. But what's interesting is Howard is not over it. Kind of the tables are turned,
right?
Which I find interesting.
He's now longing for him.
Kind of like a scorned high school date, kind of like I don't want anything to do with you. And Howard's like, no, I want you. Now I want you.
Right. Sean, need we say more?
Not really. I just love that Howard is like barefoot in his office, with his feet up, like
like a Japanese
Japanese
painting.
The cat that ate the canary.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy is just like, yeah, go F yourself, bro. I'm good.
Do you think he even put together the bowling balls from last week?
No.
Oblivious to it all. Well, guys, yeah.
Oh, so I wanted to real quick add something else from chat. There's been a lot of good chat about some people think that Mr. X, they explain Mr. X might have been, Mike beat the crap out of him in an earlier episode. Somebody else didn't think so. And then John Ulett Jr. says he thinks Kim finds a trademark infringement on the Mesa Verde image. The horse figure that you guys were talking about is from 1956 for a bank called Mesa and was Kevin's first bank book, as he mentioned in a much earlier episode.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh,
yeah.
So I didn't call it quite that well, but I did call it.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. That was
Yeah. So thank you very much to everyone in chat filling in. I feel like the biggest idiot. I love the show, but man, the stuff that you guys on chat are bringing up is great. So please keep it coming.
Deep cuts.
Definitely.
That is really hanging on every single word of dialogue.
Yeah.
Let's get into our special segments. Object, sustain. This is where we pick an aspect of the episode that we are objecting to, like we're in a court of law with Saul Goodman, saying we didn't like it, or sustaining, saying we really liked it, and please more. Continue. Let's start with Sean. Object, sustain.
Okay. I object vehemently to another episode without Lalo. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me?
You're right.
I need me some Lalo. It's been 2 episodes now.
You're
killing me.
You're right. Where is he?
I don't know. I have no idea where Lalo is.
We also didn't get Nacho either.
No, we didn't. But I'm less concerned with Nacho, more with Lalo. And then I sustain the Saul Acker montage. So good.
Oh my God.
Those two in cahoots together. Acker has no idea how deep Saul's going to go. And then he just goes for the ride. It's great. I mean, when he pulls the mail out of the mailbox, how good was that? You're just like, this guy's right with him. It's so good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The montage, great sustain. Lauren, give it to us.
Yeah, I object to Kevin not giving up Mesa Verde because this is forcing Kim's hand. What I sustain to is Jimmy saying it gets nasty, it gets personal, it gets dangerous, and Kim saying, okay. I sustain on that, but I object to the fact that this is most likely going to lead Kim out of the picture by the end of the season.
Did you think that was out of character for her?
Normally, I would say yes, but since I'm going on this theory that this is her character's demise, whatever that word demise means, I don't think anymore. I think we've turned, and now this is Kim's new thing.
It's a great call. I object to that behavior, but I think it's rooted in this relationship with Jimmy, with Saul. So I just think that's what's kind of coming out of it. And whose fault is it really? I think that's up for debate. I am going to. I don't want to copy anyone. I'm definitely going to object to no Lalo because Lalo is the best. I mean, look, Rhea Seehorn has my heart, and she's, I think, the best actress on TV. But Lalo is my favorite character right now. I'm just digging. Give me more Lalo. We got none this episode. Object to that. I also, I want to sustain that the actor who played the worker, the head of all the construction guys, just a great bit part, the same deal, and crushed it. That's a hands off to, I think, like the casting department, because they always cast even like the smaller roles pitch perfect, and they're so memorable. I think that is a classic Better Call Saul scene. So I'm going to sustain that, and I'm also going to sustain Mr. X, because I think he brought just a whole new element to the show, almost taking like the comedy we usually get from Jimmy and Saul. We got from him, and I just thought that was such a great dynamic they had in there. Moving on to news, Lauren.
Yes.
What news do you have for us?
All right. So Michael Mondo was on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and he was talking about Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So Michael Mondo was born in Quebec, grew up in Africa, so he only knew a few American people like Michael Jackson, Sylvester Stallone, and Eddie Murphy. And he learned to speak English by watching movies. He's terrified of snakes, which is interesting because they film out in New Mexico. So it was his costume designer who actually suggested that he take on snake persona. So I believe he's got that snake tattoo behind his left ear and might wear snakes. I think
he has an earring that is a snake as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I don't know if that magically makes you not afraid of snakes. Like if a snake sees you with the earring, it's like, we're cool. They asked him if he knows the fate of his character. He's like, I have no idea. But he knows that his character's trying to find redemption, which we've seen him trying to save his father. And then I've got one more bit of news. This is just for Ryan. Your pictures of Rhea Seehorn. There you go.
There we go. Yes, she's awesome.
That's the news.
I would vehemently object if we ever got an episode without Kim this season, because we are in the middle of the season, guys, and a great time to transition to predictions.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little thing we don't normally do before we predict anything. And by the way, we did not forget about ordering from Los Pollos Hermanos. Just due to this whole coronavirus thing, we are pausing that, and we will do that one day, but not tonight. Guys, next week's episode's title is Wexler v. Goodman.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
So I think we're going to get an amazing court scene, which we haven't gotten in probably like 2 seasons. I am predicting not a win for Kim, but that might be what she wants. So is that a good thing or bad thing? We'll have to see.
Right. Yeah, that's a sticky wicket, as the saying goes. I'm not sure, bro. Yeah, because like it's kind of a win-win, lose-lose, win-win for Kim, right? Like,
what's the best outcome? Because I don't think there's I think they're hoping whatever they do, whatever wrinkle they find, it will force the hand of Mesa Verde to go that other location. But I don't think that anything's going to change their minds.
Right.
Yeah, I think obviously that's what Kim wants. That's a win-win for her. That, you know, she keeps Mesa Verde, he keeps the house. We all move on with our lives. But I don't think Kevin, as he said, my poppy didn't raise me to run from a fight. So I don't think Kevin's ready to go down. He's going to go down swinging. So I don't see Kim winning in the end.
He'll go swinging. Lauren, what do you think?
You know what? You bring up a good point. I didn't even think about mentioning the title for next week. It's going to be a head-to-head. So now I'm wondering, is Kim going to have to decide if her future is with Jimmy and Saul, or if her future is with Mesa Verde and going off on her own? So that puts a new wrinkle.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
This is more of a legal question. If whatever happens in that court case next episode, if that ruins the relationship with Mesa Verde, could that potentially ruin her law career?
Yes, if she's found, I don't play a lawyer on TV, just in real life, but if she's found to have done something illegal, it's quite possible she could be disbarred.
Oh, and here's something we haven't talked about.
What?
That her current boss is on to her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Right?
that's
Like that whole thing and then she pushes, like she's on the edge the way she calls him out. Like, do you think I would do this? And he's pretty much like, yeah, I do. So now she's really kind of put it all out there. Like, if this goes south, that's a great point, Ryan. She might be done as a lawyer.
Yeah.
You think like disbarred, like full on disbarment?
I mean, at least for a year, like Jimmy. I mean,
I think what would be killer is, I mean, it would be so Breaking Bad, but if something like that happened and then we see Acker just not appreciated at all, I think that would be like such a that would say a lot about like the justice system.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens, but yeah, cannot wait. I think we're gonna get an amazing court episode. Which again, like, there's very few awesome court scenes in movies and TV, even though there's a bountiful amount of court TV. So I can't wait. Until next time, y'all. Everyone in the chat, please comment your thoughts. Do we have any shout outs, Lauren, before we head out of here?
You mean on chat or my shout outs?
Oh, just on the chat.
I'd like to shout out John and another John. Everyone's name is John, and Jao and me and Melly. Thank you very much for posting. Lots of Johns and Melly on the chat.
3 Johns in the chat.
Wow.
And Melly. Yeah, so thank you to all of them. So many things to discuss. Of course, we're excited about next week. Very excited.
Very excited. All right, without further ado, Sean McHugh, where can people find you?
At SeanStar75 on the gram and at Gorilla Suit Sean on Twitter.
Gorilla Suit Sean on Twitter. And Lauren Kling, where can people find you?
You can find me at home, where the mayor and the governor and everyone else told me to be. I'm on Instagram at Lauren Kling, LORENKLING.
Yes, and you can find me at Ryan Nilsen, RYNILSEN on Twitter, and at Ryan Nilsen on Instagram. You know, we forgot to shout out Gabby Castanilla, who cannot be with us today.
Thank you,
She's a little
Gabby.
under the weather. It's not Corona, but she's a little under the weather. Hopefully she'll be with us next week. But shout out to Gabby. She was texting us the whole episode and was like super psyched. She was bummed she couldn't be on here tonight. So shout out to Gabby. Wash your hands, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week for more.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.